Hello everyone and welcome to Totem, short for Tales of the Motherland. We are excited to share some African folk tales with you and your families in an effort to keep these stories alive and have the younger generation learn the stories their ancestors listened to when they were their age. It is our sincere hope that even our youngest audience members find something to get excited about on our channel. That is why we decided to include these age-old folk tales. As always, thank you for your support and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories. Let's begin. Anansi and the Wisdom Box. Once upon a time, in Western Africa, before telephones and smartphones, before telegrams and Instagram, before cars and before planes, even before boats and trains, before mud and before soap, long before all of those were humans and a tricky spider called Anansi. Anansi was no ordinary spider. Oh no. He was no tarantula and no daddy long legs. He was no rain spider and certainly no black widow either. He was no sack spider, no house spider, no camel spider, and definitely no golden silk spider either. Anansi was no baboon spider and no giant crab spider at all. Oh no. Anansi was none of those. Can you guess what type of spider Anansi was? Yes, Anansi was a storytelling spider. And a tricky one, I must add. With the head of a human and the body of a spider, many were not sure what he was exactly. But don't be fooled by his human appearance because he tricked humans too. See, he liked to play tricks on humans and animals alike, sometimes for his own enjoyment, and sometimes to get what he wanted. There was one thing Anansi wanted very dearly. It was a box containing all the stories of the world. The best stories with the greatest wisdom were inside that box. His father Nyame kept the box and he did not think Anansi was ready to receive it just yet. He yet had to prove his wits to his dad. To do so, his father asked Anansi to bring him 4 things. The first one was Onini, the giant python, and also Osebo the leopard. Then Moboro hornets, and finally Moachia, an invisible fairy who was known for being proud and angry. Anansi's father knew that those were impossible things to get, but he was curious to see what tricks Anansi would pull out of his web to get them. Anansi was not sure how to get those things either. His father's conditions were very hard to meet. But he had to make it because he wanted those stories very badly. He lifted his chin up and came up with a plan. His first victim would be Onini, a ginormous python feared by everyone. He sat outside Onini's home, holding a stick and pretending to argue with himself. Anansi knew that Onini was very curious, and soon enough, the python came outside and asked Anansi what he was doing. I was just arguing with my wife, Anansi lied. She says that this stick is longer than you, but I disagree. I believe you are longer, much longer. Well then, there's only one easy way to sort this out right now. I will stretch my body next to the stick to see which is longer, Onini volunteered. "Are you sure?" Anansi asked. "Absolutely," Onini replied. "Okay, but now that I think of it, it would be very difficult for you to stretch your magnificent curves to the full length of the stick. Why don't I tie you to it to make sure it's accurate, and then I can stretch you better?" Anansi suggested. "Oh, that's a great idea," Onini said with a broad smile. And so they did. Anansi tied him so tightly to the stick that Onini could not free himself. And that is how, using Onini's vanity, Anansi was able to capture him. His next victim was Osebo, a very hungry leopard. Anansi dug a deep pit and placed a juicy piece of meat in it to trap Osebo. Once Osebo fell in the pit, Anansi offered to help him by throwing him a bunch of ropes from his web. He encouraged Osebo to use his strength to get himself higher up and out of the pit, to which Osebo agreed. But soon enough, he found himself trapped in Anansi's web, because the harder he struggled to free himself, the more tangled he became in the web. Before long, he could not move. So that is how Anansi used Osebo's own strength to capture him. Another trick Anansi was able to pull was getting the deadly Moboro hornets. Moboro hornets are among the fiercest in the world, and their sting is known for being very lethal. After cutting a small hole in a gourd and getting a plug for it, Anansi collected water on a giant leaf. He poured some of the water on his own head and the rest on the hornet's nest. The nest was ruined, and the hornets rushed out, angry and ready to attack. But Anansi was smart, and he immediately called the hornets in. "Hurry, hurry! The rains have come early this season, but you guys can hide in this gourd here until the rain stops." And so did the first few hornets, followed by the rest of the colony. Once inside, all Anansi had to do was close the gourd with the plug. Here, Anansi used the hive mind to get the hornets. Anansi's tricks were getting more and more elaborate, just like the next one he used to capture the crafty invisible fairy Moachia. He molded a baby out of gum and attached its head to one of its web lines. He knew Moachia loved yam paste, so he placed some yam paste nearby. Soon, Moachia was flying by and asked the fake baby if she could have some of the delicious yam paste. Anansi pulled the string to make the baby's head nod yes, and Moachia ate the yam. When she was done, she thanked the baby. But this time, Anansi did not pull the head of the fake baby. Moachia became annoyed, and she thanked the baby again. But the baby still did not acknowledge her thanks. See, everyone knew that Moachia was very proud and very choleric. She got very angry and she slapped the baby. But her hand got stuck on the glue. She slapped again with her other hand this time, but this one too became stuck. She grew angrier, so she kicked. Her leg got caught as well. Then she kicked with her other leg, and her entire body got stuck to the gum ball. That is how, By using her pride and anger against her, Anansi was able to capture the elusive Moachia. And just like that, Anansi had gathered all 4 items his father had requested. His father Nyame was very impressed and had no other choice but to give him the box containing all the stories and all the wisdom of the world. And that, folks, is how Anansi used others' own downfalls to get what he needed. The end. Next time on Totem, we will let you know what Anansi ends up doing with the wisdom box. But if you don't want to wait, feel free to support us on Patreon for early access to our stories. For just $4 a month, you can support our channel and help us provide you with family-friendly, wholesome, and educational entertainment. Look for the link in the description box for more details. Until next time, thank you and take care.